32 people joined so far, and I will start. I can see people are still joining, but somebody's asking questions here, and we're just doing quick chatter just before I start the session. Yet you will be able to do Q&A after each sharing that I do, and then at the end there will be a general Q&A where we can talk about everything. The class should last about 20 minutes to 25 minutes. And then after that, you have me for another 20 minutes or so. Is that okay with everyone?
Sure.
Cool.
Ding.
Okay. Tell on everyone just drive. Everyone does the session. Yes, we can start right now. Okay. Let me see what's happening here. Okay, I will mute everyone so that we don't have anyone talking over me, and then we can go from there. Once we reach to the Q&A, you will have an option to press the button where it will pop you out, and then you will be able to ask a question. All right. Let's begin. Okay, sharing with Snappic. Hi, my name is Damir, and welcome to the new series of Snap Sessions, where we will try and go over all of the features Snappic has to offer. In today's class, we will be concentrating on ways to share with Snappic and best practices on how to use it to speed up your workflow. We can start with which is your favorite way of sharing at an event. You can just type in the answer and it will populate. All right, great. From the looks of it, everybody likes using text. When somebody writes social media, I would need to understand that better. So when we go to the Q&A later, I will ask that question to understand it better, to see what do you mean when it says social media. Yet we can continue from here. The recommendations are based on user feedback and personal observations. And also another question is, do you need to collect guest data? Okay, that's about an even Steven. So if you need to collect user data, then you would need to run an enterprise event. And if you don't need to collect user data, then you can run pro events. Ways to share with Snappic. The ways that we have for sharing with Snappic would be text, email, contactless, AI sharing, QR sharing, and airdrop. Okay. Okay. Are you able to see my screen? Okay, yes, you are. Cool. So from here, we will start sharing using text and SMS. So I'll just scroll down and I can see that the texting is on this pre-made event. And when I go into text message, you will be able to put in your own text. And because of what's happening with texting in the States at the moment, there's some things that I would like to share with everyone. So let's say text and email, they offer a direct way of sharing that is most common, but can take some time and slow down the line at a photo booth or share station. text messaging will have we have noticed that Twilio has started verifying numbers, and it looks like it takes some time to get verified. So if you would like to use Twilio on your personal account, you would need to go to the My Accounts tab and then connect your Twilio. If your number is not verified, all the texts will start failing. And this is what I've noticed in the past weeks or couple of weeks. Yet, using Snappic's texting for USA and Canada, you will be able to use it for free. Do note that you will need to follow the rules on the page, as carriers may block your text messages. So just be careful adding hashtag or @ signs, or even the links sometimes may just block everything. And also what I've noticed is referencing to gambling or alcoholic drinks and names will also stop messages from sending. On our side, they will show as delivered, yet when we check our texting, when the developers usually check it, they say that, hey, it's failing because there's specific text that carriers don't like. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about texting? Yes, Philippa?
Okay, I put it in the chat as well, but if guests take their photos, text the picture to themselves, is there a way that they could then do the survey on their phone, or it has to be done on the booth?
If you only share via text, it will need to be done on the photo booth. Yet I will go over it, and this is where contactless come in play. You can do surveys using contactless.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions about texting? Okay, just press the button, Cynthia. I can't hear you. You're muted. You need to push the red button in the middle of the screen. Let me see. Let me see if I can unmute you quickly. Okay, Cynthia, can you try talking? Not yet.
I'm pushing the red button, but nothing's happening.
Oh, okay. Try now.
There we go.
I see.
There we go.
Okay, now you're muted.
While we're on the subject of texting, when people are texting to other countries, is it really going through? I had someone to text to Africa. They wanted to put their number in. She put it in. I don't know if she got it or not, but is that text really going through to Africa once you select the right flag?
Yes, the right country code. You are correct. It will be delivered.
It is. Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you.
And when you have a subscription or purchase an enterprise event or on subscriptions, you do get specific amount of credits included with that part of an event.
Oh,
yeah. So send us a message on the live sport chat and they can send you exactly the amount that you get with specific tier.
And that's called texting credits?
Yes.
For other countries?
It's overall text credits. It's just that US and Canada just allows it for free.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Does anybody else have any texting questions? It may cost that right. Hi, Chad.
Hello, yes, I got a quick question about the data. So we just typically use email. Am I muted?
Okay, Chad, your voice sounds very robotic, so I'm not sure if it's your mic or something.
Hold on.
Okay.
Is that working now?
Oh, much better now.
Okay. So my question was in regards to, we typically use email, but if we're using the SMS, does it collect that data too, depending on the subscription level?
If it's an enterprise event, it will collect the text number.
Perfect. Okay, that's great.
Cool. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, I will continue. All right, let's go to sharing using an email. Whoa. All right, as everybody knows, you can use the email template library to select your email, as well as be able to edit basics. Anything that is inside of the green dotted line, you will be able to replace or change the color. What you need to be wary of is that email clients do work different, and they're not like the browsers where everything is unified 99% of the time. So the background that is pink here, if it goes to a different email provider, it may actually change color depending on how they process their emails. So do check your emails when you send them, but most of the times they work as intended. Now, when it comes to sharing, what I want to recommend is, for example, when using a photo boot, microsite link is used to just directly access the microsite link when you are inside of the email and press share your photo. That button will take you directly to the microsite. And then if Facebook is selected, it will take you to that Facebook link. If you're running a photo boot event, it is okay to attach a file as long as you only have photos, GIFs, and bursts. Once you start using video for this part, please don't select attach file, because different emails will probably not be able to receive it depending on that video file size, so the email will show as failed. So in that case, for video events, attach file, never do that. Link image, what that means is inside of an email, the image that will display here will be actually linked to the microsite. So if you click it, it will just take you to the microsite again. Yes, and also to note is that if you use Facebook link, depending on text or email, you will be connecting your social media to the Facebook business page, which will then share images directly to the microsite as well as that Facebook business page. But do note that this is only for photo events, and Facebook won't allow GIF or video uploads to their page, and it will be limited to about 1,000 photos. So if you have a large event where you're expecting more than 1,000 photos, the photo book gallery will fill and then it will stop working. Okay, does anybody have any questions about email sharing? Hi, Lolita.
Hello, where am I?
I think there's something in front of your camera, but that's okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can hear you. It looks like if you're using a Mac, it may be continuing the camera on your phone.
Oh, okay. Yes, I am.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on, but anyway, I only use Snappic for 360 videos, and I've been linking files, and also the one that you said don't link without any issues. So should I stop linking that and only link the file?
Yes, that would be a much better choice, because if it happens that you decide to have an event where the video will be larger than a specific size, it will fail to deliver to that specific email.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yep, not a problem.
And I don't know how to raise my hand.
No problem. Can you press the button now?
Okay. And I just want to make sure, just like the young lady, I want to make sure I'm doing this right. So you're saying it's safe to do it for both photo and video. Just use link. I can do that for photo and video, right?
Microsite link, yes.
Microsite, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but don't have an attached file for the email.
Oh, Okay, wait a minute. So no attached. So am I safe? Don't use attached file for either and just use link for both email and text?
Yes, you'll be fine with that.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
No worries. Does anybody else have, yes, hi.
Hi. So when we set up our emails, and it gives you that little option to put in the email suffixes like the @gmail.com and that sort of thing, is there a way to like save it or auto populate it so we don't have to type in all 8 of them every time we create an event?
Do you create events from scratch or do you duplicate events?
We usually create them from scratch because so far they've all been quite different.
Okay. Which part is different specifically for a specific event so that I can see if you can maybe use event templates, which means you would pre-create some templates, add all the prefixes to all of them, and then when you need to create event, you could just create your event template.
That would be perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Thank you.
Okay. You know how to create event templates and everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Hi, Neil.
Hey, how are you? Sorry,
Good.
I've got my camera off. I'm laying in bed recovering from surgery here, so it's not a
Not a
pretty
problem.
sight.
I hope you will.
Anyway, I with the email template, when you showed us the template with the artwork, that's only for enterprise, correct? If we do the standard event, you just get text for your email, not the actual background images and everything, correct?
That is correct.
That's what I thought. Okay, just checking. Thank you.
Yep, not a problem. Okay, anyone else? Okay, I'm going to continue. All right. How to use contactless. Let me get there quickly. Okay, so QR contactless is called QR interaction. And I think that it will change the name soon because there's too many QR things and it will be confusing. Yet I don't know the name of it in the future, but it will change the name. So once I enable QR interaction, this will enable 2 different settings. And I will first go over contactless and then I will go over AI sharing at the next part. So when it comes to contactless, by far my favorite as it allows surveys and data collection and can have disclaimer with links if needed. Meaning that if you have a disclaimer and you are not using the specific disclaimer on your booth because you're using contactless, you will be able to present a disclaimer and we can assist you with adding a hyperlink inside of the disclaimer if needed. If anyone had to ask me, my favorite way of sharing will be contactless, as it can speed up the workload by a mile. The way contactless works is by allowing guests to create their sessions on the phone and then scan the QR code they receive on the booth. I have seen it being used at Comic-Con and in large venues where guests would be informed by an attendant or a printed QR code where it will say, please scan this QR code to start your experience. To create the experience and then you would present it to the attendant, as I mentioned. So what you do is you scan the code, you enter your email, and then you're presented with survey. And then if you have a survey enabled, of course, and then you're presented with experiences that you would like to select. And then you're selected with a template. And after that, once you select the template, it will generate a personal QR code for that specific template. Once you have it ready, you will just go to the photo booth and present it to the photo booth. Do note that as soon as the photo booth sees the QR code, it will already start doing a countdown. Advantages. When using contactless, there will be no need to touch the device, only show the QR code. And it will start the session and share it automatically. No queues to add email or text. And in combination with a QR sharing, it can really speed up the workflow. Add a share station to the equation, and you will be able to run an event at a very fast pace. because everything is pre-done and pre-selected. So the one way that I've seen it done for the contactless is, let's say you go to the mall and you want to install a photo booth behind a glass, so it won't be accessible. But people that have a QR code can just show it, and they can just take a picture through that glass without touching anything and receive it. So it's a great way to share using QR contactless. Now, to enable QR contactless, you would have to enable it here. Contactless, you would enable the buttons that you would like to see when you start your experience on your phone. And then the experience buttons on the iPad, you can either show them or hide them, depending on the event. If you would like people to only use contactless, then you would hide the buttons so nobody can see them. If you think that at an event, people will still like to come without their phone and not use the QR code, just show your buttons, and then people can also select everything on the Snappic app, and in the end, share with a specific sharing that you have allowed. I'm not going to go through editing Live Editor in this session because it's a bit more complex, but I will definitely go over it in the future sessions. Okay. Hi.
I got it that time. Okay, so did I hear you correctly? If sweet little grandma that's 90 years old does not know anything about a cell phone, she can still use the booth without having to, can it be set up to do both at the same time?
Yes, it can.
Okay, so she can walk up there and still do hers and type her number in or her email address in, although she doesn't have that either. She just
that is correct.
Yet, but somebody else can scan and it'll work both ways.
Yes.
Okay.
Just don't hide the buttons.
Don't hide the buttons.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't hide buttons. If I know I'm doing dual, don't hide buttons.
If you're doing what? Sorry.
If I'm doing it dual, if I'm doing both.
Okay.
Contactless as well as contact. Don't have the buttons.
Don't hide them.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Another workflow that you can implement here is if you have an attendant, or if you are there and the 90-year-old granny comes without the phone and would like to type in buttons, and she can't even do that, then you can even use your own personal phone, fill in the details for her, and just share it for her using the contactless.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can fairly do that for anyone that forgets a phone if you want to use contactless for them.
Say that one more time. I could do my phone?
Yes. So once you open the contactless page and you select something on it, right? Once you get the QR code, you can start it. Yet if you have the next guest, don't start it on the same QR code. Just refresh that page. It will take you back to the beginning of the page, and then select everything, add their email, or give them a phone. They can do it manually if they forgot it, and just scan it.
Okay. And the information to go straight to them. Okay. That's great.
So it will literally, you'll show the QR code, it will start the session and share the session, and it will go back to the beginning screen.
Awesome. Thank you.
Not a problem. Okay, anyone else? Hi, Neil.
All right, hello again. Okay, so I tested this once at a party, and it really went well. If I'm correct, you're able to, on their phone, when they scan it, they can choose the props they want as well, correct? On their phone?
I can't really remember at this point, but we can test it after we have.
Okay, yeah, no big deal.
Can you remind me at the end when we do all the questions, and then I'll just do it for everyone so we can all see.
Sure. And it was a while ago that we did it. But the question I had is, and it's either with, and again, it's a while ago I did it. It was either with this QR or the other QR where they scan it off of the photo booth to start, which I guess you're going to do next.
No, that's the same one. That's the contactless. We are talking about the same one.
A problem I noticed is that when they try to scan the QR code from my iPad screen, because of the bright light, the ring light, they couldn't take the picture. Or vice versa. I think when they had it on their phone, when they got they scanned, I had a sign made up. They scanned the sign, got the QR code on their phone. When they brought the phone to the photo booth didn't really recognize the QR code unless I lowered the light.
Okay, so what you can do in this case is on the phone at the QR code, if you tap it once, it will expand the QR code across the whole screen. And also that QR code will start being very dim and very bright. So it will just vary like that. And you'll just be able to present it at that point. I think it's going to work.
Okay, easy enough. Sounds good.
Yep.
Thanks.
No worries. Okay. Hi, Jason. Can you hear me, Jason? I think you don't really have a good internet. If you would like, you can also type in your question. You are muted, but you can type, yes. Now you're not muted, but I can't hear you. Yeah, you can type it in. The screen was not bright enough to see past the red light. So it was bad and people were frustrated they couldn't access the QR site. Okay, so let me just read quickly, and I will go over how to deal with this and have a better experience. So let's say Jason ran into the same issue with Neil, but the other issue that he experienced is that the guests didn't have a good internet on their phones, so it wouldn't load the page. In this case, I would recommend switching off the QR before you start the photo booth, so you don't have the QR contactless at all, and enable QR sharing at the end, which will help you. Well, no, in that case, it won't even work again, because then you still need to load the page. So in this case, you would need to use texting or email directly. Yeah, okay, that's my primary point. So, all right, that's great. So just to make sure that I mean, I wouldn't be able, if it's such a busy event, for example, at PBX Vegas, there was a lot of people and the internet in the venue was almost zero, and my personal data was working half, so it was questionable. In that case, I would just recommend enabling the buttons and then sharing via text and syncing the event afterwards, as that would be the best choice. I will go over the QR sharing afterwards, and I will explain how it works, because we have added data collection with QR code, which will share the session afterwards, but the person would still need to have internet on their own device in order to work. Also recommending telling people to screenshot their QR code. If they, well, the problem is that if they didn't manage to even scan the QR code and load it on their device, that means that the internet or even carrier service in the area was bad, so they wouldn't even be able to get that end QR code. It's a good recommendation to screenshot the QR code, but they still need to get to that part of the QR code. If there's no internet, it won't work. So bad internet was no good for QR sharing. Yeah, you're correct. Bad internet, not good for QR sharing. But this is only if it's bad internet on their personal devices. But if internet is good on their personal devices, then QR sharing is fine. Can use it multiple times. The participants can use it multiple times, but it will always be connected to the specific session that they have pre-selected, which means if they want to select a new session, if you have multiple templates on your event and they would like to do something else, they would need to create a new QR code. Contactless, can we collect user data as emails and phone? Yes, contactless will. Okay, I have another question, but let's try and have questions one at a time. Otherwise, I will not be able to pick up on all the questions as it will just populate too fast. And Jason, do you have any other questions? All right, thank you. Okay. Does anybody? Yeah. Hi.
I have one more. Oh,
When they scan the QR code, if we're using a DSLR, does it take the QR code from the DSLR or from the iPad?
At this moment, it takes it from the DSLR, and it's not really working correctly at this point. But I know developers are working on allowing you to select a camera in the future that will scan the QR code, and at that point, it will become a iPad camera that will scan the QR code and then transfer to DSLR to take a photo. But if your DSLR is on manual focus at that moment, you'll always be able to scan it because you can always find that manual focus where it is. Yeah, because if it's blurry, it won't scan it.
Okay, perfect. And then my next one is, if I've already set up the event and it's a reoccurring event, for example, I can just check the QR interaction and then print off the QR code for an event.
Yes, just be careful. The only time that QR code will change for the specific event is if you add a white label.
Okay.
So if you don't have a white label and you printed out a QR code and then you decided I'm going to add a white label, that QR code is not the same anymore.
So, when we, on the little thing, it says edit, we select white label, enable it, and then we should create then we accept the QR interactions.
Well, you can enable it at any point. Just don't print it until you're done setting up the event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's what I'm saying. Even if it's enabled before, don't print it out if you're adding a white label. Print it out afterwards.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. No worries. Okay. Anyone? Yeah.
well, I should have asked this earlier. When they do use the contactless and they come back 5, 6, 10 more times, will it save it, or they have to still put the information in again?
It will, well, if they still have the same QR code on their phone and they didn't switch it off, they can start the session anytime.
Okay, so that's great. I see why you said this is faster, so they don't have to keep putting in their phone number. Okay.
Yes, if they want to change their template, so if you have multiple templates, at that point they would need to refresh and input the new numbers. But if they just want to do the same template, then same QR code will work.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Okay.
Hello, I'm planning to build photo booth cabin, and I have a question about printer. Does it matter if it connects to iPad with AirPrint function?
Okay, so let's keep the printing after everything, as at this point we're just doing sharing, but I will have a general Q&A after the sessions.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Does anybody else have a question about contactless? Hi, Lillian.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
All right, so then I am good. So then basically my question is, with the QR code, does that really hitch up like the virtual backdrop hitches up? If you don't have a good internet, it's not going to work?
So when you say that the bad internet, we need to decide which bad internet are you talking about. If you have a bad internet on the iPad, it will still collect all the data. And once you have good internet and share and sync everything, it will share everything that the guest came to, when the guest came to take a photo. If the guest's phone doesn't have good internet, then it won't work because they can't load the page.
Okay. And now you said the different templates, because when I do an event, I always give the guests a choice of a 2x6 or a 4x6.
Okay.
Depending on who wants a strip picture. Sometimes, you know, a little older crowd only wants a 4x6. They just want a picture with their husband or their grandson or whatever. So if I have 2 or 3 templates set up in my event, am I going to then have 2 or 3 QR codes?
Well, no. The way it works is you will have one QR code that the guest will scan. Once they scan that QR code, they will be taken to a microsite. On that microsite, the first question will be, how would you like to share this? And then select text or email if both are enabled. And then they would add the sharing details. Once that is done, they would be able to select the template they would like to use. Once they select the template and click next, they will receive their own personal QR code for that specific template they selected.
Okay.
Is this too complicated for guests? It sounds complicated. I mean, we never did it that way. I mean, does it make it faster? But at the end of the day, they still got to wait for the print, because that's going to take 10 seconds to print out.
Well, yes, they would need to wait for the printout, because it depends. If you selected auto print, then they would do a session and as soon as it does the session, it will print it. So they won't really wait for too long. And if you're using Snappic print server, then it will fairly print immediately. Then it will just depend on how long the print takes to come out.
Yeah, we'll use the print service. So.
Yeah, and I do have it on auto print, because I don't like having to hit the print button after every photo.
Understood. So if you use the contactless, then you would just present the contactless to the iPad, or the guest will just present it. And then as soon as they present it, take a photo, it will just start printing as soon as it takes a photo, because they won't need to share it and they won't need to touch any buttons. But yeah.
Right, but then if it's an older guest, sometimes they're not so phone savvy.
Yep. Then they can do manual.
You know, I mean, I had.
Then you can still display the buttons under the.
Yeah,
QR
no, I mean, I had somebody yelling at me once.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right, I had somebody yelling at me that it wasn't going to her phone, yelling, and then I said, "So, but we've put it in 3 times. How could that be? You're holding your phone, and I'm putting your number in." And she goes, "Oh, no." She goes, "I'm sending it to my house phone."
Oh my gosh.
She was trying to send it to her landline in the house. And I'm like, "You're never going to get it." But when you have somebody, you know, somebody's older and not so, you know, computer savvy or whatever, like that's going to come up. That's going to happen.
It will. I know.
Because you mean I won't get it when I get home? And I just looked at it. I'm like, "No, you're not getting it when you get home."
No. It's the first time I hear something like that, so it's fine.
Yeah, it was kind of cute. I had to laugh. I said, "You know what?" I said, "Let's send it to your cell phone." And she goes, "I don't know my number." So now I'm looking for her phone number. So I sent to the iPad.
I have a dumb question. What's the advantage of the QR code? It's just more automated, seamless? Is that the whole idea behind this?
It's fully automated. So if you even switch off the buttons, and that's what I'm saying, it's good for installations behind the glass where you can't touch anything. So in that case, it will be full on contactless. So you would just have a QR code that you would show to the iPad.
So you can actually.
I'm sorry.
So you can actually have your iPad locked away. Nobody go near it.
Yes, you can.
I said you could actually have your iPad locked away behind something where no one can touch it, and it's still going to work.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Not a problem. Okay. Anybody else on the push button before I read the questions on the side? Okay, Paul?
Hey, Damir.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I think I added the question in the chat, and I think a couple of other people may have inquired as well.
Okay.
How effective is contactless? Because when there's multiple people in a photo session, because in most cases, events will have 3, 4, 5 people participate in that session, and if one person's initiating that template, how do all the other people get the photo without them having to scan their own phone to reinitiate it?
Yeah, in that case, it does become complex. They would need to ask the person that received the main image to share it with them.
Okay.
But once I get to the AI sharing, you'll have a better understanding on how you can actually use the AI sharing to your advantage for people that are, when there's multiple people in the image.
Okay. Because in most cases, we always have 1 to 2 sharing stations. So we direct people to the sharing stations to where they can then share the photos to themselves rather than tying up the booth.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Not a problem. So if you do that and they would like to go to the share station, in this case, I would also recommend enabling QR sharing, which I'll come to the end, because then on the share station, they can just open the QR sharing, scan the code, and input their email and just receive the image. Okay. Anyone else with the red button? Okay, let me see what's happening on the chat line here. Okay. If there are people in one session, how can each choose different option? Does that work? If there are people in one session, how each chose different? How does that work? I'm sorry, I'm not understanding your question. Photoboot 007. What? There are multiple people. I'm not sure. Contactless, can we collect user data such as email phones? So Nikki, yes, you can collect email and phone with contactless because it will ask before every session. As soon as you scan the QR code, first thing will be to input. I think already you asked it. Oh, okay. Yes. So it will be able to collect user data if you use contactless every single time. Let me see if I missed anything. Participants can use multiple templates, I think. Hi, Lillian.
Hi, I have one more question. We have the enterprise package, so we collect the analytics.
Okay.
When you do the QR code, is it still going to collect those analytics?
QR contactless or QR sharing?
I guess the QR sharing, the one where they,
The one where they present the
is it
QR
still
code or the
going?
one where they scan the QR code after the session?
Either or.
Either
Okay, so
or, because I guess the
will
sharing one, because at the end of an event, I have the phone number. I have all the phone numbers of people that texted a picture out to themselves.
okay.
Is it gonna gather that also?
Yes, I will show you how once I get to the QR sharing, but contactless will definitely collect data.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, if I have missed a question on the right side, as it's hard for me to follow the questions there, rather ask them via the push button, then you can type rather, because then I will be able to read it and concentrate on that specific question. Does anybody have any other questions about contactless? Okay, let's continue then. Okay, how to use AI sharing, which is on the same page. Okay. So the way that AI sharing works is you would need to enable it. And by enabling AI sharing, okay. So AI sharing will be the most advanced way of sharing, as guests can register their face at any time and get their personal gallery directly via email or text message. AI sharing is future for photo booth sharing, where guests can register their face anytime before, during, or after an event and receive their sessions in their personal gallery. So no more sharing or photo booths, just go and take a photo and you are done. It's great for corporate and very large events. And I would like to add an explainer on how it works for video effects. In case of video, it will capture 6 images from the specific video and gather all the faces in order to be as accurate as it can. I've seen being used and I've seen it work really well 90% of the time, but then it depends on how fast the arm spins and how good the face is captured. It will mostly depend on that, on how it will be recognized. So for now, if you would like to use it with video effects, I would say do a couple of test sessions, see how it works, move your face, see if it's going to recognize you, put a couple of people on and see if it's going to work and if it's going to work in your use case. It's important to have good lighting so that it can also recognize that specific face. To enable AI sharing, you would need to enable contactless, and then you would just need to, inside of the QR interaction, just select AI sharing. From that moment on, you also need to enable one of the sharing options. Otherwise, once you scan the QR code, it will say there is no way of sharing, and it will just notify you, please enable something to share with. Otherwise, it will not work. And yeah, that would be it for AI sharing. It's really simple to use. Yet this type of sharing will need AI sharing credits. Does anybody have any questions about AI sharing? Hi, everyone. What cameras and printers do you use? Okay. Hi.
Hello. I want to know any feedbacks from others who have been using AI sharing, and how do customers react towards getting their face kind of scanned to be recognizable?
I've seen people ask this question on Facebook group, and I've seen good reviews when it comes to the photo booths. So as long as it can recognize the face, as long as you can see it, it will work 100%. That's what I'm saying. For video events, it takes 7 photos, depending on the speed and the rotation. You would need to test to see if it will work in your case. It is accurate about 90% of the time from what I've noticed, which means it works. Also, you need to know that when using AI sharing, it uses 1 credit per 1 face recognized on the specific image. So the credits go quite fast if there's a lot of people in the background.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, not a problem. Does anybody else have questions about AI sharing? AI credits, what is the price? Where do I buy AI credits? For AI credits, if you have just signed up recently, you will have 2,000 credits included. To find AI sharing credits or any other credits, you will go to the accounts tab and then just press top up. What's the price? The price, you can see it under the accounts tab once you press top up. Okay. Okay, anybody else, any questions about AI sharing? Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, QR sharing. So QR sharing, you would also enable it under event options. It's called QR sharing. And it has recently become my favorite way of sharing because we have added the ability to actually collect user data. Now, there's 3 different options on collecting the data, which I will go over right now. So the first one, after the session, if it's enabled, after the session, you press the QR code, you scan the QR code. If the image is there, then it won't ask for data, and then you can just download the image. If it's an offline event, once you scan the QR code, it will actually request the QR data in order to send it when the event is synced. Second one, once you enable it, it will work. It will always collect data, which means if the session is available or if the session is not available, once you scan the QR code, it will always ask to collect the data. And then the third one is used for, usually in Europe, GDPR, and when the guests don't really want to leave their email or any share detail, you would select the third one, and then they will be able to just skip adding their share details. And if the session is there, they'll be able to download it. If the session is not there, then they won't be able to download it if they close the browser, as they will just lose the session, because at that point it won't be able to collect anything. And then QR sharing, everything on QR sharing customization. This is very simple. Try creating the QR code as bright as possible, because if you try and use it like this and you decide that the color number 2 is black, I don't think it will work because it's too dark and it won't see all 4 points. So that is QR sharing. It's very simple and very effective, and I think it's very fast. Does anybody have any questions on the QR sharing side? Hi, Paul.
Hi, Damir. Is there a way to initiate the disclaimer with QR sharing?
I would need to just give me a second. Let me quickly set up a disclaimer here and I'll let you know.
Because to address your earlier point with GDPR compliance, if you enable that, they can bypass it. But if we can present a disclaimer that they acknowledge and accept, then we'll be able to collect the data, right?
You are correct, yes. I would need to start an event on my side. Let me see if I have an event for that. Sorry, I just want to see if I have an event with QR sharing enabled at this point. Okay, I do. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, I really want to. I really want to answer that question, so just one moment on that. Let me just log into my account.
We can't hear you.
I'm just talking to myself. I'm just adding the disclaimer on my private event to see if it's gonna pop up. So just one moment, I've done that now. I do have something on that just came across my mind. The disclaimer will show before the QR code is even presented.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can see my phone from here. So once you finish your session, you'll have the disclaimer, and then you can only press the QR sharing. And QR contactless, you will be able to present the disclaimer before you actually input your email.
Okay, thanks for the clarification.
Yep, not a problem. Okay. Hi, Marcus.
Hello, how you doing?
Good.
So I got the QR sharing up on my screen here in my account.
Okay.
It says, so my question really is, do I need a, what's the account that's above the Pro?
Enterprise?
Enterprise. Do you need Enterprise in order to get the data?
Yes.
Because I'm on the, I have a Pro account. I'm using the QR share page. I see the first check. It's saying request data on QR share page. I check it, and then the remaining two boxes do come up. Request share data, even if the session is available, and the last one allow guests to skip entering their data.
Yes. This is the reason. The reason for the first one is so that you can only have it if the session is not there. Then it will request the data from the user. Once you sync the event, it will share it. The second one will always request data, yet this is also for an enterprise level where it will just send them as soon as it's uploaded, or it will just collect the data. Yet Pro events do not collect data.
Even though I checkbox this off, it won't collect any data.
No, it won't.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, Pro events are created to, as soon as something is shared, it will just delete all the data.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Not a problem. Okay. Hi, Lydia.
Hi, how are you? Okay, Vinny's going to ask this time.
So I don't want to sound stupid here, but I will ask, what is the purpose of the disclaimer?
Well, usually purpose of the disclaimer comes on a personal capacity where you can inform the guest that you will be using their images for social media sharing or for commerce fairly. So clients are
I have that on my contract.
Okay. You do have it on your contract for
I signed my contract. I have that on there.
Yes, but you need to distinguish that the contract is binding you and your client who you are renting the booth to. Yet people that are going to be taking pictures on your booth, they don't belong to that contract.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that is their personal preference if they would allow this to be shared by you or they wouldn't.
I got you. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Yep, not a problem. Hi.
Hi again. Where, this is silly, but where does the QR code display? So they take their picture and then it just pops up, or we need to select the QR option?
It's, excuse my face, it's there.
Okay. So
yeah.
we click that
once you click it, it will display it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, what's going on? I'm sorry, there's too many messages coming on the right side. Did anybody ask any question there? Okay, does anybody have any other questions on the QR sharing? Okay, I'll go to the next page. All right, how to use AirDrop. That is very simple. I don't think I really need to show anything specific for AirDrop. I will just quickly open a page. Just one moment. Okay. So you would go under event options and you would enable AirDrop. Once you enable AirDrop, it will also show up as an option to share next to the QR code. So it will have text, email, QR code, and AirDrop. Now, what's important to know about AirDrop is what we've noticed when we were at PBX, where it was a lot of people, it just didn't want to find any device when it came to sharing. So it wasn't very reliable for such a large event. Also, it doesn't collect any data. So if you are planning to collect data at an event, please don't use AirDrop. You will lose that data for anyone that's using an Apple device. Okay. Any questions on the AirDrop? What's on camera? Okay, I guess AirDrop is very simple, so no really questions there. And then we are on to the general Q&A. Now we can ask anything we wish to. Okay.
Hi, Damir. General question. I'm glad you said that because I enjoyed today and I took a lot of notes, but I was really thinking this was going to be about the information that I saw in the email about the sharing station without having internet. Is there any way you could share a little bit about how that is going to work? Because I always have problems with my sharing station. It takes forever. And I have internet, but for some reason, it'll take forever for the photos to get to the sharing station. So I really want to know about the sharing station.
Okay, I can say how it's going to work, but I can't say when it's going to come.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So the way that the local sharing station will work is the main iPad will just send locally any session to the share station. Mm-hmm. And then guests can just go to the share station and also scan the QR code, use text or email. So it's just going to be fairly instant to the share station. Then it will depend on the internet how fast it will get to the guest, but it will be instantly to the share station fairly.
But I thought it won't require internet. So it will still require internet.
To share to the guest. It wouldn't require
to share
internet.
To the guest. Okay,
yes.
Okay, to share to the guest,
yes,
but not to get to the sharing station.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah.
I need that in my life. Hurry up.
we are, I think it's in the works, but no ETA.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Hi. We can talk about printing now.
Yeah, I want to ask about Canon TS printer, which uses AirPrint function. I want to ask about can it cause any problems if it's not wired with iPad? Is it okay to print with AirPrint?
AirPrint, yeah, it's completely okay to print AirPrint, and we do have a lot of users using AirPrint. Now, it will depend on which type of AirPrint you're using. If it's a Canon, I think it's called Prisma, or I can't remember the exact name of the Canon printers that actually support AirPrint, but I know that they are slow to print, but you won't have issues in printing.
My printer is Canon TS700 series, 704A, and it's actually can print with AirPrint.
Okay, so the only thing that I've noticed with AirPrint is it takes a little while to transfer the image from iPad to the printer. So, for example, when using one of the examples is WCM with DNP, it takes about 20 seconds to 30 seconds just to transfer the image, and then it takes another 10 seconds to print out the image. Okay.
Can I ask another question?
Please do.
If I use remote flash with my Canon camera, can it work properly with Snappic application, or it needs to be wired?
Which DSLR are you using?
Canon M50.
Okay, and which remote flash is it?
Which flash? Where is it? Godox MS30.
Okay, I did see that the remote flashes work with no issues. The only time that I've seen it not work is when the Godox doesn't want to connect with the DSLR, but in that case, I know that Canon sells an adapter that can actually work with it. So it would be best to test your camera and see if the flash will fire. But usually with mirrorless cameras, there's no issue.
Thank you very much.
Not a problem. Okay. Hi, Dwayne.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing? Does QR sharing, does that require strong internet?
QR sharing doesn't really require internet, as long as you select the first two check marks, because then person will scan the QR code. If the session is not there, they will be informed as soon as the session is uploaded. If the session is there, then they can just download it.
Okay, so it's good with large events that maybe the internet may go out because so many people are there.
Yes, and then after you finish the event, if the event didn't sync, you will just sync it, and then it will reshare everything that wasn't shared.
Okay, thank you.
Not a problem. Okay, anyone has any other questions? Hi.
Hi again. You and I spoke last week, and we solved the issue. But is there any chance that you can get the developers to remove the microsite on the email, so we could just do just a general email? Because my client wanted what they paid for an enterprise, but when the people entered their email, they're collecting data. They didn't want to land on a microsite. They wanted to keep it as simple as possible, just a generic. Here's the subject line. Here's a little text in the email, and then attach the photo. But whenever you went in there, you deleted a bunch of stuff for me. We got it down to as basic as we could.
Yep.
If developers can have an option of microsite landing email or just a regular email when you get to the enterprise pro account. Obviously, there's no microsite.
Yeah, there is no microsite on the pro account. I would probably need to speak to developers when it comes to the pro accounts and removing the link to share. And
it was actually on a microsite on an enterprise account because they wanted to collect data.
Okay.
So they wanted the analytics.
Okay.
So when I went to generate an email for them, I had to use a microsite.
Well, you mean to completely remove the microsite, the one we spoke about, where you would just like to use the pro microsite?
Correct. There's an option when you get to when you go upgrade to an enterprise, you get to the email microsite. You could say use a microsite or just use general email.
I will need to ask the developers on that. I'm not sure if that's possible at this time, but I think that you can send a message and we can always ask them to see if it's possible to remove the microsite and just use the generic one.
Correct. That'd be awesome.
I mean the email.
Right. And my second question is when I do my wireless printing, I don't use internet. I use just a travel router, have the laptop and everything talk to each other. Now with people with the sharing station, because the photos, are they not saved on the iPad while the event is going on temporarily?
No, they're saved on the Snappic app.
Which is on the iPad, or is it going up to a server?
It's saved on the Snappic app until it goes to the server.
Okay. Could they use a travel router to talk to the sharing iPad station and the iPad photo booth without internet?
As long as no, not yet. That will be the local sharing once it's available.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
So if you don't have internet at that point, it will be able to share it to the share station and use the share station offline.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Not a problem. Hi, Cynthia.
This probably may be my last question. Do you foresee anywhere down the road when we're white labeling, because all my events are white labeled, is there anything that can be done about that booth co? Can it say your actual business name instead of booth co?
Are you asking about the text side?
Let's see, where does it come up? Yeah, yes, it comes up under text. Yeah.
Yes.
Can it be white labeled?
It is white labeled. It's a short code that takes guests to the white label landing page, which is a microsite.
So there's nothing that can be done about the booth code part.
No, that's how the text works, and they only allow that short code to be bootpick.co. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but maybe in the future something changes. But at
Okay.
this point, nothing that I know about.
Okay. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Okay, going back to this is, I don't think we discussed it, but the AI background removal. I know it's essentially 1 credit for each photo.
Correct.
If you have 4 people in the photo and 4 people text it, is it still just 1 credit?
It's just 1 credit per photo. It doesn't matter how many it shares. Yeah.
But if I'm doing a burst with 16 frames, then it's going to be 16 credits, correct?
You are correct. And it's going to take a little bit time to actually upload, remove, download. Yeah.
Okay. And when we do it, I haven't played with it yet. Do they get to see it live on the screen like they would with green screen? Like when I use green screen with Snappic, they could actually see the replaced image and interact with it. When you do the AI, it's just green and they see the after effect?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not possible. They'll only see it after it's done. But to save on credits, if you're using Burst, or GIF, have you considered using video effects?
I mean, not yet. I don't use either. I don't use the AI at all. I was just curious. I mean, I was just curious about it.
Okay. So what you can do in this case, I would recommend don't enable Burst, rather enable video effects and use AI segmentation, because it's in-house and it works without credits.
Oh, okay. And just do a short video. So do like a 2-second video or something instead of a quick burst.
Yes.
Gotcha. And is that one of the AI?
Yes, yeah. I did add 2 templates. One is called Burst and the other one is called GIF. And I think they are under a DSLR tab.
Can it be done with just an iPad?
Sorry?
Can it be done with just an iPad?
No, yeah, of course. All videos can be used across anything. Right. It's just that I've created it specifically for DSLR because DSLR can't do Burst. So it's easier for them to find it under the DSLR than just search for templates.
Gotcha. Okay, and just another quick question then. I'm always, when I use Snappic, it's strictly iPad. I do want to experiment with hooking a DSLR up to the iPad. My question is, if I'm going to do video or burst, I would need a lot of external lighting, correct?
Actually, depending, if for 360, look at it this way. If you
360, but in general, like for a regular booth, instead of the iPad camera, if I want to do a DSLR camera.
Yes. So in my opinion, because from a photographer's standpoint of view, the camera on the phones and on iPads are very small and small sensors. So you have very low amount of light going in versus a DSLR that has like quite a large sensor. You have more light coming in.
Sure.
So M50, without losing too much of a quality on an image, this is an entry-level camera. You can go 6400 ISO while still keeping a good quality on the image. If you have even just a ring light, it will work better than the camera on the device.
Gotcha. Okay. And can you use the Canon, like the T5, T6? Will they work?
The lowest recommended one would be the T6, but I wouldn't buy anything that is not mirrorless.
Oh, okay.
You would have less issues.
Gotcha. All right, perfect. Thank you.
Not a problem. You can use GIF with M50. Yes, you can. Lillian?
Vinny again.
Is there a way I could use my Nikon Z8 through Snappic?
I know recently an update came that allowed Z cameras to start working. So if you test it, please let me know if it works for you.
How am I gonna test it? I can't hook it up to an iPad.
Why not?
Why not? I mean, I might be able to. I don't know if. Well, Nikon has what is known as SnapBridge, which works off my my Android.
Okay.
But it's.
I think
as far as I was going to, I don't know how I would integrate.
Okay.
My Z8 into an iPad.
Okay, so
I can't walk around with a wire. That's not practical.
Oh, that's how people do it. It has to be with a wire. So the Canon Z series, I think they all come with a Type-C connector. So the iPad that you have, is it also a Type-C?
Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
Yes, the iPads that you use, are they also Type-C?
The Type-C?
Type,
Yeah,
I guess they are.
they're both in the photo ring with a Type-C connector. Yes.
Okay, so what I would recommend is take one of the iPads and the Nikon Z8. Just take the USB-C cable that came with the iPad as a charging cable, because that would be the best cable to connect it with. Just plug it in directly, go into the Snappic app and see if you can see the Nikon Z. If it shows, you tap it. If it just connects, it's going to work. If it doesn't connect, let me know, come to the support chat so we can upload the logs to see if the developers can see something there. Because I know we had a lot of people using Z6, Z9, and a Z8, but that was about a couple of months back that they couldn't connect at all. And then we had one of the users actually contact Nikon, and they said that at this point they were not supported. Yet on the latest Snappic update, from what I've heard from the developers, is that the Z9 and Z6 are working. Yet we don't have anyone that will test the Z8. But if you have time to test it, do let us know if it works.
So I would have to hook up. I'd have to use a, I guess, because I don't have an iPhone. I'd have to use one of her iPhone, and hook it up to the USB port there, the micro USB that they use.
Well, at that point, you would need to have the adapter that Apple sells, the Type Lightning port to camera adapter. There's 3 different ones, but they all do the same thing. So they have a Lightning port, and then they have a camera on the USB port on the bottom.
Right. So I mean the Lightning port. So that means that'll have to be hooked up to the camera. Then it would have to mesh with the Snappic on the phone, I guess.
Yes, then it will just pop up a camera where you go to configure camera. So it will show Nikon Z6. It will show a couple of options, but just press any to see if it's going to work.
So then I got one other question, because I don't want to hog this. Does that mean that I could actually send pictures to the printer that way?
Well, you will be using a DSLR. Sorry, one moment.
That's a mirrorless.
Yes. So for mirrorless camera, the way it works is once you connect it to the Snappic app, you'll just snap a photo or select a session on the Snappic, and the camera will capture the photo, send it to the Snappic app, and at that point, you can do anything from the Snappic app. So the DSLR is just used for the camera purpose.
Right. So that means I could print from the gallery.
Yes, that is correct.
Interesting. All right, thank you. I have some experimenting to do.
Okay. Anyone else? Hi, Zintle.
Hello, I have a couple of questions. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes. First one is if I use slow-mo and other templates on the 360 booth,
okay,
they sometimes pick up the light around and they make a flickering lighting.
Correct.
Yes. And the second one is when I take videos, I can see a reflection of the phone and it's blue.
Okay, now the blue one, I'm not sure what do you mean, so I would need to see what happens there. But the first question, let me reply to that. When this happens, that means that you're using fluorescent lighting. I mean, the venue has fluorescent lighting, which works on 50 hertz. If you are using a template that has a slow motion that will be using anything more than 1/2 speed, which means if you go to the timeline and you see the multiplier, if it goes on 1/4 or 1/8, you would need to push it back to 1/2 and then save changes. I mean, you would need to do it for every single template for all the app recordings if at the venue it's a fluorescent light. Otherwise, it will always be flickering because the way that it works is cameras record at 50 or 60 hertz, And then once you push it up to 120, which is 120 frames per second or 120 hertz, it won't sync because it will be 50 versus 120. So it will just flicker like that. This is something that is unavoidable even on professional cameras.
Okay, I see.
And then the other one that you asked, I'm not sure. I wouldn't actually need to see.
I can send a video because it's been happening a lot, and I was wondering if it's the phone or the lighting.
Okay.
Because I just see the reflection of the phone on people's clothes.
Oh, interesting. So just do send us contact the live support chat and let us know.
Okay. I think that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody? Okay. Hi, Pete.
Hi. Is there an account credit usage report, or can you find out how much credits on each particular type you use on each event?
Which credits though?
Any of them. So you've got background removal, you've got upload.
Are you on an enterprise or on pro?
Pro.
Okay, for pro you wouldn't be able to see because analytics are not captured.
And enterprise as well. So if I use an enterprise one, because then I'm sort of want to do analytics, and if I want to have a report, so I've got some idea of how much extra to charge in the future going forward, etc. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You will be able to see it on analytics, like you have AR sharing, which will display AR credits used and how many registered faces actually. If you would like to see the background removal, the only way to see it is once the event is done, enable virtual boot, and then it will show BG credits and how many of them are used. You did give me an idea. Now I forgot to tell the developers to try and add that without the virtual boot so it can be shown for regular events as well. But you can see it. You just need to enable virtual boot at that point.
All right. Cheers.
And then, of course, text credits and everything you will be able to see also on every event if you have analytics, and printing as well. Any other questions, Pete?
That's it for me. Thanks.
Great. Hi, Daniel.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I have a question. I saw you guys announce the Bluetooth, the LED lighting that's going to be controlled by Bluetooth. I know you didn't say nothing, maybe, but I'm hoping that maybe you can give me some insight on what to expect.
Okay.
The process of changing all 12 units, and before I do it, I like if I know a bit like what's coming up, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll wait.
Yeah, not a problem. Do send us a message on the live support chat, and we'll send you the devices that are going to be supported.
Okay, and so they're the devices that will be able to control. The devices are they're like controllers that you plug in, or they're actual LED lights.
No, they are controllers. Just one moment. Can you pass me that controller? Sorry about that. So this is how it looks like. I'm just going to show you quickly. It's very small. Yeah. So just send us a message and we'll send you the correct devices.
And last question about that, because I know it's not about that, but if we're using a Bluetooth controlled LED right now from a third party manufacturer, I don't want to say the manufacturer, and we want to use that, it can't be both, right? Because the Bluetooth
if your LED, you would still need to use the controller that is recommended from our side, as this is the ones that we will be integrating with.
But the ring light that's currently being controlled by Bluetooth won't be able to be controlled.
This will depend on the type of the connector and the amount of lights that you have there.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah. So as long as it can connect to this, it should be able to work because it's just LED.
You don't know when they're going to officially release all the details, right?
I only know it's close by, but I wouldn't know exactly when.
I'm going to wait. I don't want to bother you guys. I'm busy anyway, so as you know, but I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. You made my day.
No problem, Daniel. Thanks. Okay. Hi, Neil.
All right. Hi. Background removal. Can we do that with a pro account, or does it have to be enterprise?
You can do green screen with a pro account. It would be an additional $19, and then plus the credits for AI background removal.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, so you still have to do background removal. Oh, you have to do green screen, or can you
green
just
screen add-on, because it works from the green screen.
Right, but if you're doing AI background removal and you don't have a green screen, you know what I mean? Because you could do it technically anywhere in the room, correct?
That is correct. It's just that you would need to enable green screen because AI background removal is under green screen
and
setting.
you have to pick all of your backgrounds and everything.
Yes.
Correct. Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Does anybody have questions? I need to start wrapping up soon.
Yes, I have one last question. When
Okay.
Vinny was just asking about attaching his camera to the phone through the lightning port so he can walk around, take photos, would those then populate into the gallery
Yes, it
on
would.
the phone?
It would go.
And
No.
then it would print. Now my question is, if
Okay.
we're at an event and we just want to use his regular camera to take like table shots,
Okay.
but yet our iPad is still up in front of the backdrop for the regular photo booth, can I open your app on 2 different devices and not get charged?
You would need to purchase if the photo booth is not used at that moment and it's off, you can pull the license and use the secondary device. If you're using it at the same time, you would need to purchase an additional license.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Hi, Zintle.
Hi, sorry for the last time. I wanted to ask, does the app affect how the camera, how clear the camera is? Because I see sometimes when I'm taking with the templates that the people are not clear, but I use my normal camera and they're clear.
I would need to double check those sessions and see exactly what you are talking about, because at this point I wouldn't be able to just guess.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you would send us a message on a live support chat, then team can tag me and I can just double check everything.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Yes, Pamela?
I just want to thank you all for being the type of company you are. We really, truly appreciate you and the service that I've gotten for all the years that I've had Snappic. You guys are a growing company and I appreciate it. That's it.
Thank you very much, Pamela.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Daniel.
I just got one more question. When do you think you're going to run another one of these sessions?
Once a month.
Oh, once a month? All right.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Okay. Hi, Jason. No, I still can't hear you. Sorry. Do you want to type in your question? All right. Jason, Mark posted a photo. Oh, a photo earlier. Marcus. Okay, I can see. Yes, that does look like AI background removal. Do you recommend certain iPad boots that works better? When you say a certain iPad boot that works better, I would recommend if you're using a DSLR, any iPad that can install the latest iOS if you're using iPad for the iPad camera, the most recent iPads would have the best cameras. Maybe 2 to 3 years back, but nothing further than that when it comes to the cameras. So from 2020 and upwards, great iPads. Before that, they're still good, but depends on what you need. Jason, do you have another question? Okay.
Last one, I promise. I know you're trying to get off, so therefore, have you all done one of these sessions for the contest? And if not, can you do a session on that? I've tried to use that contest one time, completely confused how that works, but I would like to do it at little birthday parties. I think it would be great for birthday parties for kids. So if you haven't done one, can you please consider doing one on contest?
I'll definitely consider it. Okay, let me know if you have more questions. On the next screen, I will do the contest, and then it will be the $50 giveaway for Snappic, and then we are done. Okay. I'm going next. All right, so to participate in the competition, your camera would need to be on. If we spin it and the camera is off, I will have to spin it again. All right, ready? Ready, okay. The camera is on, but Pamela's not there. Hi. All right, Pamela, just can you send us on the live sport chat a message, and I'll pick up from there and we'll add the credit there. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for participating. I'm going to go to next page. Thank you, guys.